Hello everyone, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler and welcome. I don't know. All right. Okay, here we go. This is basically a test for me. I've never done a live stream before, so I am starting out, and your suggestions and comments are always appreciated. I have decided to do the 100-day challenge, or the 100-day project this year, which is a 100-day challenge for artists to spend a short time a day, 10 to 15 minutes, in a focused creative activity, and then to track that by taking pictures of your progression and posting it to social media. So this year, I'm terrible at these. Every time I try to do Inktober or one of the other monthly challenges, I last maybe a day and then I'm lost. So this is going to be a true challenge for me. And so when designing the project, I decided to do something ultra small and ultra simple for myself. And so what I've decided to do is create a Celtic knot similar to this. And each day of the project, then I will pick a section and fill in with a different tangle. And so when I'm finished, then I will have these will have 49 each. And so I can stick another one somewhere or embellish the edge or something. So that's not a problem. But I'll have 2 pieces of art that I can hang on my wall and use them for tangle inspiration, which is something that I really could use. So what I'm going to do today is tell you about what I'm using and show you how to set the knot up, so that if you should happen to decide to follow along with me, then you can do this yourself at home. Now I have another opus tile. These are Zentangle opus tiles. They are 10.5 by 10.5 inches tall, or wide, and they are gorgeous. They are gorgeous original paper, like on the original Zentangle tiles. And this is my very first time to use these tiles. I got a couple at my certification training at CZT 32, and I have been saving them for something special. So this is what I'm going to use 2 of them for. Now, laughingly, I pulled out another one to prep for today's thing, and I can't find it anywhere. So what I've done is I took a piece of hot press watercolor paper, and this is gorgeous watercolor paper. It's let me show you. It's Arches hot press watercolor paper, and it's the 300 gram, 140 pound weight, and it is gorgeous and thick, but it's also smooth and really nice to draw on. And so for fun today, we have a Zentangle project pack number 5 coming out this next week, and these scissors, these edgers, came with it. And so for fun, I decided to decal the edge of this watercolor paper just to see how it would turn out. It's actually a pretty cool thing. So anyway, I can't wait for Project Pack 5 to start, but we've got our 100 days project in the meantime. So I wanted to make these sections a little bit bigger than one square inch. This is about 1.25 inches width wide. And what I did was I turned the opus tile over, and I ran my ruler along the back and drew these to see how many would fit across here. And I think I had 8 or 9, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. And then with 1 inch on each side approximately for a border, then I had 7. And so that's where I came up with the 7 by 7, 49 each. And then I can embellish the edge or something like that for the other 2 days. So that's what we're going to do. And so this, I'm going to sort of do the same process on. I'm going to go ahead and divide this up. And like I said, this is not a square inch method. This is just we can't speed this up, huh? And although I'm usually a big proponent of not measuring and not worrying about exactness, this is going to work out a whole lot better if you will try to take care with your measuring. I think I made this 10 by 10. Let's see. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. So that's perfect. That's what we want. So turn it and do the same thing going down the side. We'll be ready to roll. Now, if I ever do find my opus tile, I will probably change these out, but this will be sufficient for today's prep work. So really for this project, all you need is a pen and a pencil and a ruler and some paper. And the, watercolor paper is nice and everything, but if you want, you can do this in a sketchbook. Another kind of paper that is nice for this type of project is the Canson mixed media paper. Is so good. It takes water. It is smooth for writing. It's nice and white as far as the color goes, if you like that. So you might try that out. I really love, that's the sketchbook that I use, is the mixed media paper. So I'm always slapping water on something. All right, well, that's not exactly even, but it's pretty close, and we're gonna go with it. I don't know where I went off. It's gonna work though. Okay, as long as this part is square, we're okay. Let's do one more thing, because you might not want to do this, but I like these to be precise. It's the OCD calling. I had a tip, I saw a tip on YouTube from somebody that said if you sketch in watercolor pencil, then that all goes away later, which is not a bad plan. So why am I doing this is because when we put we're going to add little dots everywhere, and when we join them up, if they're not evenly placed in the squares, then our knot can look off. And like I said, normally I don't care, but since this is a project that I'm wanting to hang at the end, I'm going to take a little extra time. My plan is for this to do an early morning live stream every day, about 15 minutes before my kid gets up. That we will see about. Then you can follow along and learn the tangles even if you don't want to go for this. What I'm going to do on this is I'm going to do these the other way too, so that I can find the midpoint, the exact midpoint of each of these squares. And by doing that, then my middle dot that I put in there for the pattern is going to be the same in every square, and that's going to make a huge difference. Okay, all of that tedious work gives us squares with crosses in them, okay? So what we want to do, remember, this is the edge that we're going to be working in. And there will be an inch from the edge on each side. All right. Oh, and one more. Ooh, I got the whole thing in one go. All right, let's get started. Okay, I want you to take your pencil and start at the top of the portion that we're going to use, and I want you to draw small circles around each one of the points. Try to keep the circles as much as possible about the same size, because that will make a difference. Now you also want a small circle, and extra careful on the size on that one too, in the middle where the lines cross. Now we could do these dots in pen, and that would be fine, but I choose to do them in pencil for a couple of reasons. One is I don't like to have the big dots on the edge. The other is that sometimes, no matter how carefully we measure when we join the two, when we join each of the pairs of circles, then sometimes it's off. And if we have drawn them in pencil, then we can shift that a little bit when we go in with our inking pen. For those of you who don't know, I'm completely disabled, and that includes my brain sometimes, but so I have learned to adapt a lot as I've learned to draw in the way that I do things. And so I think that that's one reason why I keep coming up with tutorials for people, is because I have had to sit down and think about so many things. What's the fastest, easiest way to accomplish this that will work with my limitations? And so it's caused me to think about things from a different perspective, and I think that makes a difference in making things easy for people to understand, because I'm already sort of predisposed to think lazy. All right. More than halfway done with this. And I've done fairly well with my circles, keeping them consistent. But I already know that some of them are a tiny bit off. So I want to pay extra special care to these when we're inking. And one more. There. I must really want this to be right. Okay. Next is the inking. Let's see if I've got a good pen for this. I am terrible about writing on myself. That's how I test my pens. That's what my hand is for. All right. So you guys know the pattern Huggins probably. And if not, I'm going to show you how that goes. You can start any place except on the outer edge. Don't start on the outer edge, but you can start anywhere in here, in any direction you want to. It does not matter. Just start by joining your circles, and this is how that goes. You want to, Huggins says, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this dot and this one. Huggins is a pattern for knotting, for like woven stuff. And so Huggins starts with little dots, and you join the dots in an alternate way. So since these two, I drew them from the inside of the circles, or the dots, see? So this one is going to go on the outside. So let's put this dot in. Okay, so this is going to go outside. And now maybe you see why it's so important to get these dots in the middle in the right place. Okay, this is inside. Okay, and we're going to leave this one, we'll do this one, but we'll leave the edge work for next time, or for the next pass around, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to finish this row. And again, alternating sides. So this one goes outside. All right, and we want our dot here. But this other stuff we don't want to touch yet. Okay. So now in Huggins, what you do for your next row down is you do the alternate side than you did on the row above. Let me zoom in a little bit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I went crazy with the zooming. All right. So it's opposite what was above. Oops, I lost you. Zoom out back. Oops. Okay. Now, continue. However, if you want, we can skip that part and do it in a minute, and we can fill in the rest of this. Now, we're going to follow the same procedure. You know, inside the dots, and then we're going to go outside. Okay? Inside, outside. Oops, I lost you again. Try not to do that. Okay. I skipped around a little bit, but this is basically what we're going for. So now, finish out what we're doing. Leave the 4 dots on the corners until the very last thing. All right? Okay, I'm going to go for it. The bigger your dots, the thinner your ribbon. And when I say ribbon, I'm referring to this that looks like it goes underneath and over. Alternate sides. Ooh. I got my creativity working today. This becomes more and more like Huggins for me the further I go. I just really want to put a curve in that. I did it again, didn't I? Well, I better go and look into this. So when we come to the edges, what we're going to do is take each one and fold it over the one coming. So let's start down here. Here's our center box. So we're going to want this to come up and over. So let's join this here. So this will go on the outside. All right. And so when we start, okay, so this one needs to come first, and I bet you I messed it up. We'll see. Okay, so you want to find one where you can come up, touch that penciled circle, and then come in. And so this leaves us what we need for this one. Come up, go over to the pencil circle, sort of curve it down. Try not to be wiggly like I am. And okay, sort of. So that's how we're going to fix that. All right. Okay. See, don't panic. It all works out in the end. This is why I didn't want to put the black dots on the outside, which of course I forgot, and I did it anyway. But if we put a thick rim around it, nobody will know. All right. Let's get busy and finish this up. I'm determined to wiggle today. This can be sort of like a puzzle. If you work your way around the areas where you know that you're right, the rest of it sort of falls into place. And don't be scared to make mistakes. I have made so many mistakes on these. So many. In reality, this is a project that I wanted to do for a long time, but I just haven't had the courage to try it. All right, so Ta-da! Now just fill in your little holes, make sure everything's nice and tight, and you'll be ready for Tuesday. I will see you on Tuesday morning when we will fill in our first section on this, and thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next time.